Hello, and welcome back to Money Talks, the podcast that makes chatting about money feel as easy and comfortable as catching up with your best friend. Our goal here is to take all that complicated financial stuff and make it super simple and totally relatable for everyone. Have you ever had that feeling? You know, the one where you get that payday notification and your foot just does a little happy dance? You feel like you're on top of the world. But then, fast forward a week, maybe two, and you look at your bank account and think, wait, where did it all go? It's like your salary just stopped by to say a quick hello and then waved goodbye before you even got to know it. And one of the biggest helpers in our modern cashless world is, of course, the credit card, right? I mean, whether you're swiping for online shopping, grabbing dinner with friends, or booking that vacation, it's just so incredibly convenient. Plus, you've got all the promotions, the reward points, the discounts, and the cashback offers tempting us at every turn. For many of us, it's an absolute essential. But hiding within all that convenience, there are sometimes little hidden traps. Traps that quietly encourage us to spend just a little bit more than we should, slowly chipping away at our financial health without us even noticing. So today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the credit card debt traps most people don't see coming. We're going to break down exactly what they are and share some simple ways to avoid them and get out of them so that we can be the masters of our credit cards and not the other way around. Are you ready to get on the path to some real deal financial freedom? If you are, let's dive in. All right, first things first. Let's do a quick check-in and look at some of the major warning signs. Let's see if any of these sound a little familiar. See if you can spot yourself in any of these common scenarios. The first trap, and this one is a classic, is the thought, I'll just pay the minimum for now. I know. We've all been there. It feels like the smart move at the time, right? It gives you a bit of breathing room and frees up cash for other things. But my friends, this is probably the most dangerous trap of all. Because here's the secret most people don't realize. Credit card interest isn't calculated on your remaining balance. It's calculated on the entire original amount from the very first day you made the purchase. Let me paint a picture for you. Let's say you treated yourself to a new gadget for $1,000. When the bill comes, you think, okay, I'll just pay the minimum, 10%, so that's $100. Easy. But the moment you do that, the interest, let's say it's 18% per year, starts racking up on the full $1,000. That means the $100 you paid in goes to cover the interest first, and only a tiny bit goes toward the actual principal, the money you actually owe. So next month, you'll find that your debt has barely shrunk at all and it's already started growing. It's a scary fast way for debt to snowball. Moving on to trap number 2, which often shows up disguised as a blessing, the 0% interest installment plan. Pay in 12 easy interest-free installments. 0% financing available. Hearing those words makes your heart beat a little faster, doesn't it? Suddenly, that big-ticket item that seemed way out of reach feels totally affordable. It tricks our brains into thinking it's a great deal. But the danger with these angelic-seeming offers is that they make it incredibly easy to buy things we don't really need or to spend more than we can actually afford. Just imagine, you see a 0% offer for the latest smartphone. Your old one works fine, but hey, it's only $100 a month, so you go for it. A few weeks later, you see a 0% deal on a new laptop, and you go for that too. Before you know it, all these small monthly payments have added up to a huge chunk of your income. And here's the real catch. If you miss just one payment, that magical 0% deal can disappear, and you could be hit with all the back interest at a super high rate. That blessing can turn into a curse in an instant. And the final trap for today, one that feels like an emergency exit but is actually an express way into a cycle of debt, is the cash advance. When you're in a tight spot and need cash fast, getting a cash advance from your credit card can seem like the quickest, easiest solution. But you have to know that it comes at a very high price. First, there's the cash advance fee, which is usually around 3 to 5% of the amount you take out. But the real killer is the interest. Unlike with purchases, there is no grace period for a cash advance. Interest starts accumulating the second that money is in your hand, and it's almost always at a much, much higher rate than your regular purchase rate. This is how people get stuck in that dangerous cycle, taking a cash advance from card B to pay the bill for card A, and then from card C to pay card B. It becomes a stressful shell game that is incredibly difficult to escape. So, how did we do? Did any of those 3 classic traps ring a bell? It's pretty clear to see how close to home they are and how easily anyone can fall for them, right? So, after hearing about those 3 classic traps, maybe you were nodding along thinking, yep, that's me, or ouch, that one hit a little too close to home. Hey, if that was you, please don't feel bad about it at all. Honestly, these are incredibly common traps that are super easy to fall into. But have you ever stopped to wonder, why? Why are we so easily drawn into these situations, even when we know that getting into debt isn't a good thing? Well, for the next few minutes, we're going to put on our financial psychology hats. We're going to peek behind the curtain and see what's really going on in our brains when we make these spending decisions. The first reason is a big one. Swiping a card just doesn't feel like spending real money. I want you to picture this. You're at the checkout, you hand over that little piece of plastic, the cashier swipes it, you sign your name, or you just tap your card on the machine, beep, and it's over in a matter of seconds. It's so smooth, so effortless, so painless. That sting you feel when you actually lose money from your wallet, it's almost completely gone. Now, compare that to having to physically open your wallet, count out the bills one by one, and hand over that cold, hard cash. It's a totally different feeling, isn't it? When you pay with cash, you actually feel the value of what you're giving away. Psychologists actually have a name for this, the pain of paying. And credit cards are like the ultimate painkiller. They numb that feeling, which makes it much easier for us to spend more freely and buy more expensive things without a second thought. In fact, some fascinating studies have shown that, on average, people are willing to spend 20 to 30% more when they pay with a card versus cash. Isn't that wild? All right, let's move on to the second reason. A high credit limit can create a powerful financial illusion. Have you ever opened your banking app, looked at your available credit, and thought, whoa? Let's say your monthly take-home pay is $3,000, but the bank approved you for a credit card with a shiny $10,000 limit. Seeing that big, beautiful number can create a very convincing illusion. Subconsciously, a little voice in our head starts to think, wow, I have $10,000 to spend. Even though we logically know it's not our money, it's a line of credit, a loan, the feeling of having all that purchasing power in our pocket is real. It can make us feel richer than we actually are. And what happens then? Well, maybe we start considering that fancier restaurant for dinner. We start browsing for those designer shoes that seemed out of reach before. We start making spending decisions based on our big, shiny credit limit instead of our actual, real-life income. And before we know it, we've overspent without even realizing how we got there. And finally, the reason that is impossible to ignore in this day and age: social media, the ultimate spending trigger. Think about it. All you have to do is pick up your phone and scroll through Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook for 5 minutes, and bam, it's everywhere. Your friend just checked into a beautiful new cafe. An influencer is doing an unboxing of the latest phone. Everyone seems to be on a fabulous vacation. And let's not forget the targeted ads that feel like they're literally reading your mind. It's a little creepy, right? Seeing all these perfect lifestyles constantly triggers that feeling of wanting and needing, or what everyone now calls FOMO, the fear of missing out. We start to worry we're falling behind, that we're not living our best life, and that little thought, I have to have it, starts to creep in. And when you combine that powerful urge with the painless convenience of a credit card, well, it's the perfect storm. The decision to buy happens in an instant, often before we've had a chance to ask ourselves, is this something I genuinely need? Or is this just a want that was sparked by a photo I saw 2 minutes ago? So you see, there are so many psychological forces and things in our environment that are constantly nudging us to spend more easily with our cards. But don't worry. Simply being aware of these feelings and these triggers is the most important first step you can take. Because It helps you bring a little bit of mindfulness into that moment right before you reach for that card. All right, now that we've unmasked the traps and understand the psychology behind why we fall for them, we have arrived at the most important part of our chat today. This is the Let's Do This section. This is where we turn knowledge into action, build up our financial defenses, and start waving goodbye to that nasty debt cycle for good. And whether you're someone who's never had debt or you're right in the middle of figuring it out, please don't worry. There's always a path forward for everyone. So let's start with group number 1. For those of you who have a healthy financial picture or are maybe just getting your first credit card, let's build a strong defense with these simple prevention tips to stay debt-free. First up, choose the right card and keep it simple. There are a million different credit cards out there today, right? Don't get distracted by all the sign-up gifts. Instead, pick a card that actually fits your lifestyle. For example, if you do a lot of online shopping, find a card with great cashback rewards. If you love to travel, look for one that has awesome airline miles. And try to stick to just 1 or 2 cards max. Having too many just makes things complicated and much harder to track. Next, memorize this golden rule: pay in full and pay on time. This is the absolute heart of using a credit card responsibly. Make it your mission to build the habit of paying your entire balance by the due date every single month. When you do this, you won't pay a single penny in that nasty high interest, and you'll also be building a fantastic credit history for your future. It's a total win-win. And finally, set a budget and always review your statement. Before a new month begins, decide on the spending cap for your credit card. For example, this month, I won't spend more than 30% of my income on this card. And when your bill arrives, don't just glance at the total amount due. Take a minute to scan through all the charges. This is an amazing way to understand your own spending habits, see where your money is really going, and plan better for the next month. Now, for anyone listening who is currently dealing with credit card debt, I want to start by sending you a big virtual hug. Please know that you are not alone in this, and every problem has a solution. Let's walk through the action plan for getting out of debt. The very first thing you must do is stop creating new debt immediately. Think about it. If your boat has a leak, the first thing you have to do is plug the hole, right? It's the same with debt. You might want to put your credit cards away somewhere safe, or even stop carrying them in your wallet for a while. Switch to using cash or a debit card so you can regain full control over your spending. Next, list out all your debts and make a plan. Take a deep breath and write it all down. Which cards do you have debt on? What's the balance? And what's the interest rate for each one? Then you can choose a payoff strategy. You could start by attacking the debt with the highest interest rate first. That's the avalanche method, which saves you the most money. Or you could start by paying off your smallest debt first. That's the snowball method, which can give you a huge boost of motivation and confidence. And a very powerful tool is debt consolidation or refinancing. This means you contact your bank to see if you can get a single personal loan to pay off all of your high-interest credit cards at once. The beauty of this is that you'll only have one monthly payment to worry about, and the interest rate on a personal loan is almost always much lower than credit card interest. This one strategy can help you get out of debt so much faster. Remember, the first step is always the hardest, but once you start, I promise it gets easier. I am cheering you on every step of the way. And just like that, we've reached the end of today's episode of Money Talks. How are we all feeling? I truly hope our conversation about these credit card debt traps has been like a little flashlight, helping to illuminate the path and giving you a much clearer understanding of the world of credit cards. Like we said at the very beginning, a credit card really is a double-edged sword. When you use it with knowledge, understanding, and discipline, it can be a fantastic financial tool that adds convenience and amazing benefits to your life. But on the flip side, if we use it without that understanding and let our emotions take the lead, it can turn around and cause some serious damage to our financial well-being. The most important takeaway I want to leave you with today, and this doesn't just apply to credit cards, but to all of our spending, is the power of mindfulness. It's about bringing a moment of awareness to every purchase. It's about pausing just for a second before you tap or swipe and asking yourself that simple question. Is this a genuine need, or is this just a fleeting want that I'm feeling in this moment? That mindfulness, that habit of planning your finances with intention, truly is the master key that will unlock the door to real and lasting financial freedom. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking money today. I truly believe that every single one of us has the power to manage our money well. For now, that's all the time we have on Money Talks. Don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button so you won't miss out on our next chat about all things money. Until then, take care and bye for now.